Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Next Team Cricket, episode 6. And if you're watching from YouTube for the first time, you would realize that this series is now on video. And today I have with me the most handsome faces of Singapore, Arjun Apavu and Yash. How are you all doing,
Cheers
boys?
for the compliment.
I prefer not to speak.
So yes, we are just in the aftermath of New Zealand. I would say absolutely outplaying us in all departments, and I think they were deserved winners. So yeah, I think as usual, let's just take it session by session. So yeah, session 1. I think it was 60. We started the day 64 for 2. Hopes were high. We were talking about Kohli's positivity towards the end of day 5.
Day before, yeah.
Yep, and we all know what happened after that. Both Pujara and Kohli got out. What do you guys? Yeah, I mean, what was the feeling when you guys saw Kohli throwing his wicket away? Pujara got out to a good ball, but yeah,
I think, with Kohli, he's been comfortable for most part, but the bowler that was consistently troubling him was Kyle Jamieson, and
yeah,
he just never really looked like he was able to assert himself against Jamieson. And I think even the way he got out shows that he wasn't confident facing that bowler, because he was a bit of a nothing shot, and he kind of just flashed at the ball. Poor shot selection. Quite disappointed because he was looking pretty good against the rest of the attack. And I think after they got Kohli and Pujara early, it was always going to be an uphill task for us.
Yeah. I feel for me, the case is more of, I felt coming into like day 6 itself, Kohli tried to be positive. I think Pujara tried to be positive as well, but then it just didn't look, they didn't look comfortable in the crease. For the amount of time they were batting, they just didn't look comfortable. Whereas whenever the Kiwis came to bat, they actually looked really comfortable to bat. I mean, we'll come to their batting later on, but like I'm just saying, like the contrast in terms of batting. So I felt that in the first session, that 3 wickets which we lost of Pujara, Kohli, and Rahane, it sort of really put us slightly on the back foot because these 3 are our key players whom we back to score runs, especially Kohli and Rahane, and Pujara being the backbone, trying to support both of them. But we came in the day trying to be positive, and we knew that we had to score runs, because if we didn't score runs, we are definitely going to lose the game. And in the midst of trying to score runs, we lost wickets as well. But then I wouldn't say we were like taking too many risks also, because the balls which Kohli got out, Rahane got out, Pujara got out, were all like, they weren't balls which were like bad balls, they were actually pretty good balls.
Yeah. Honestly, like I don't remember Jamieson bowling a bad ball in the whole Test match. Which I mean, that to me is that is an insanely high standard to actually keep to.
The man is.
I don't think we necessarily bowl badly in either of the innings. Maybe second innings a bit we were a bit off, but I think the standard set by New Zealand, all their fast bowlers, I think they all chipped in, and they were really really consistent with the line and lengths, which I think when you want to be champions, you have to meet that standard, and these fine margins is what makes or breaks. In this case, wins you the cup. So
absolutely,
I think credit to New Zealand. I think they were really impeccable with their line and lengths. But okay, to be very honest, when we lost 3 wickets in that session, I still
we were still in the game. Yeah,
we were still well in the game. So because we had Pant and Jadeja was actually timing the ball really well before the session ended. And what did we finish session 1 on? Can't recall. I just remember we lost.
We had a lead of 98 at the end of the session.
And we lost 25 wickets, so we still had 5 wickets in hand. We still had Ashwin to come, who was our last recognised batsman. So I think things were still looking okay. We were in our heads. We were thinking if Pant, because Pant obviously got dropped in the first session by Southee, and to an extent you could say he made him pay, because 41 runs was, I would say, a bonus. Pant was I think he was a bit iffy at the start. He was looking quite he was looking to score runs like how he always does, but I think New Zealand's bowling really didn't give him much to work with.
Yeah.
So I think 41 is a decent return in the end, like considering how they were bowling. So yeah, I mean, okay, I think that's session 1, and we go into session 2. I think session 2 is where we lost the match. I think that's where it was already gone. So I mean, were you guys surprised with how quickly we lost the 5 wickets?
Not really, to be honest.
Really.
Yeah, because this batting, like we know, after we are 7 down, it's pretty much non-existent. Apart from Shami. In fact, Shami was the only player who gave us a few runs. In fact, to play with.
Yep.
Those 10, 15
some good
additional
pinch hitting
runs.
at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. Because the thing is, we were in a very good position. Like we said, we were 5 down, 100 run lead, and we just needed another 50 to 60 more runs. I would say we would have given New Zealand a much more better fight in the final session. But Pant threw his wicket away, which was a completely unnecessary shot, I felt, at the stage of the game. I mean, yes, I get the fact that he was trying to score runs, but you look at the way, I'll just take Kane Williamson's example. I'm not comparing them both, but I'm just saying Kane Williamson is just very controlled in the way he scores runs. He knows which balls to go after and when to exactly just find the gaps, And he didn't take any unnecessary risk, like trying to come down the pitch or even trying like a extravagant shot or anything. Whereas we saw Pan trying all different sorts of shot, using his left hand and everything, trying to just get the ball hooked.
Yeah.
But
that's the kind of play he is, to be fair.
Yes, he is. But in that match situation, I felt that was a bit immature of him, I would say. Because we were already 5 down. We lost Jadeja. He just looked uncomfortable against Wagner. And the way Wagner set him up beautifully, it was very beautiful to watch. And that's the criticism I have, because I felt whenever India bowled, we were very predictable with the ball. And New Zealand just
observation. Sorry, finish your point.
I was just saying New Zealand just outsmarted and outfoxed us in all the departments.
Yep, definitely. I mean, in terms of bowling especially, I think one of our friends made this observation. I'm not sure if it's you guys, but they were setting up like outswinger, then in-swinger the next ball. Like they had a clear plan each and every over to execute, which our batsmen couldn't necessarily decode. They were unsure whether the ball was going to come in or come out, or whether it's going to be short or full, good length. And the thing is, I mean, having a plan is one thing, having the ability to execute it is another thing. And I thought the New Zealand bowlers were brilliant in that sense. Yeah, and
they hardly gave a loose ball away.
Yeah, they didn't give a loose ball. I don't honestly. The first innings, I think there were 1 or 2 drives, but the second innings, I do not recall a single drive. Because of a full length ball bowled by one of the New Zealand bowlers. And I mean that just speaks volumes of the quality they have in their attack. And I mean, I think at the start we might have exactly. I think at the start we might have thought. Them going with 5 seamers might have been like, because I mean even myself personally, I felt like you should have a spinner in your bowling attack no matter the conditions, but I thought the 4 fast bowlers, I mean De Grandhomme didn't really get a bowl much, so I would say they were technically going with 4 seamers and an extra batsman in De Grandhomme. I mean in that sense I think they did quite admirably. Like they didn't seem like a bowling attack that was tired or even stretched by any means. They were very comfortable overall. Yep. So okay, we got all out. I mean Shami's cameo at the end I think gave us a bit of a false hope. Maybe 130. We would have without Shami's I guess stand, we would have probably gone 120-ish, 125-ish, around there. So I guess that was quite encouraging to say the least. I think we were thinking 150. I think all of us were like, fingers crossed, 150 is like a magic number for us. Like maybe 150 we have a chance, because psychologically you cross 150, it could be a bit of a mental battle, because it is going to be. I mean, I know the batting conditions are improving with the sun coming out, but you still need to chase on the final. You're playing last, and as we did see in the last session, there was some assistance for the spinners. So yeah, I mean, as usual, it's the hope that kills you. And yeah.
But I felt the day we actually really lost the test match was actually the day before. Was it the day before? I can't remember. But it's when the New Zealand scored this extra 32 runs with their tail end. I think that was the main crucial point in the game where we actually sort of lost it because we were actually in the game, and I think we talked about this on our previous episode as well, on the day review, where the tail actually gave New Zealand a lot more runs than obviously our tail. But the fact that we were unable to actually get through their tail as quickly as New Zealand, gets through our tail, that ultimately cost us the game. I mean, I know their tail can bat and they can bat deeper, but as a bowling unit, you back yourself to always get the tails out as quickly as possible.
Especially like someone like Bumrah, who prides himself in bowling these Yorkers no matter the format. And he's not done that before in Test cricket, where he has enjoyed reasonable success in bowling Yorkers and getting batsmen out, cleaning up the tail. But yeah, I do agree with you. That's probably I wouldn't say that's why we lost the match per se. I would still say
but if you think about it,
superior. I would say their bowling was far superior than ours. That's what I would say.
That's for sure.
I don't think fielding wise. I mean, towards the end, I think we already lost the match. We were quite dejected. But in the third session, that's different. That's different. But overall, I don't think fielding we did too much wrong. Batting, I thought actually it was quite decent. But I still feel like the New Zealand bowlers forced us into mistakes. More than us throwing. I mean, okay, yes, we did throw away our wicket in the first innings for some of the batsmen, but
even second innings because of.
I still feel it's because of the quality bowling by the New Zealand bowlers. Like it really caused question marks within the batsmen's minds, which proved to be a challenge and proved to be quite successful for them.
But I think the main wicket which changed the entire day was definitely Kohli's wicket at the beginning.
I think
that changed the.
It probably just. I think it defeated us mentally.
I
think that was where we really. We were just depleted there. We were just defeated, I think.
Yeah. I think with Neil Wagner's short ball trap especially, when we were looking to score runs after the collapse with Pant and Jadeja, I think we played like 10 pull shots and we got like 10 runs from that. So it was we were backed into a corner basically by how accurate Wagner can deliver those bounces. I think we were watching on Discord yesterday. Every time we saw Pant got on his back foot, pulled it. Oh yes, boundary. Nope, there's someone out there. I mean, it's just.
It was a very weird fielding position as well by Kane Williamson. Right, he had a short mid wicket, and he had a square leg, and he had a deep square leg as well. So all three fielders were almost in line. Like, I mean, they were a bit left and right. Like, they were skewed a bit left and right. But it was a very weird fielding position. But he backed Wagner to execute that length. And he delivered every single time.
Yeah. I think there were like 3 or 4 deliveries to Jadeja where I felt like I was just seeing a replay. It's honestly quite scary how disciplined and accurate their bowling attack is.
And the Jadeja wicket was very smart. I mean, we talked about it just now, but like he bowled like 3-4 short deliveries, and then suddenly one he bowled slightly fuller and trapped him. Cramp him for space, and basically Jadeja just edged it then because he thought that maybe that's going to be a short ball, so he'd already set himself up for it.
Yeah, as in, I to be honest, I know you guys feel like Jadeja looked uncomfortable. I felt he was. To me, because I believe that Kane was doing the same thing in the first innings when we were bowling really well. We were on top for a while, and I thought he might like dig in a bit and stay in the wicket. I mean, stay at the crease for a longer period of time. But obviously that didn't happen. That's the thing. Test cricket is that kind of a game. You don't need requires one good ball to get you, and I mean that's why it's called Test. You're expected to stay and get through a difficult period for longer periods of time, and the team that does it for a longer period of time is going to be the team that enjoys more success.
Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think it's a good time to move on to the third session. So I think third session. Who else would give us more hope? I mean, so that false hope apart from
Ashwin,
Ravichandran Ashwin. Yes. First of all, the guy is a legend. I mean, there's no two ways about it. I think both of you guys can agree with me on this. Like Sanju Manju is out of his depth. I do not understand the comment. It's unnecessary. And
Yeah.
honestly, to be honest, I mean, every time Sanju Manju runs his mouth, our cricketers tend to
Perform better.
perform much better. And I mean,
Yeah.
I guess he should next start criticizing Gill, and then he might start performing better.
Yeah.
But yeah, but okay. I mean, jokes apart, I think Ashwin really was, especially that first spell was really good. He was keeping it tight. I think he lacked a bit of support from the other end.
Yeah.
No one really was, because you obviously need New Zealand to choke on both ends for there to be a build up of pressure and eventually induce a wicket, because Taylor and Williamson are class batsmen, and
Yeah.
they know that they just, if they stick around, things are going to get easier, as we saw.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to give it to Ashwin. Both left-handers,
Absolutely.
Conway and Latham, both in form. The first one, Latham wicket was beautifully done, because he slowed it down delivery after delivery, and the third delivery he pushed the length back and anticipated that Latham would come forward, and that was a beautiful stumping.
Yeah.
And Conway's wicket as well was very good leg before wicket.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Ashwin, I at this point as a bowler, I feel he's evolved into a bowler that doesn't rely on conditions as much. It's more to do with his skill and the batsman,
Absolutely.
whether he's able to combat that skill which Ashwin possesses. But yeah, I
think-
thought
yeah.
Ashwin was the pick of the bowlers by a country mile.
Which is weird to say, because
Yeah, it is.
you would expect your pacers to be providing the breakthroughs. And
Yeah. Definitely. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
I thought like Bumrah was straying in his line a bit, although I mean the balls which he got on target were wicket taking deliveries, but unfortunately they didn't catch the edge.
Yeah, the problem with our bowling in the second innings was that we tried to restrict, like, because of the run, it was only 139 for New Zealand to chase. It's just pretty, like, it's a very low total, and New Zealand had about like 50 overs to get that through. So there's plenty of time. So the issue with what I saw in our bowling is we weren't as consistent, or nowhere as consistent as New Zealand were. We bowled well and in certain amount of small spells, but then even in that over where you bowled really well, there was that one delivery which you'd straight off the leg stump or something, and then New Zealand would just flick easy runs, and we weren't able to restrict them or build any scoreboard pressure in that sense, because every now and then we just kept on giving freebies, and like you said, Ashwin was the only one who kept it tight in the first spell, but he didn't get support from the other end, so that just negated all the effort Ashwin put in a way.
Exactly. No, if you think about it, right, in the final session they needed 120, I think it was 120 runs. Yeah, I think 120 runs.
Yeah, 120 runs.
So it's, I mean, previously, if you look at all the days that's being played, the highest in terms of runs was New Zealand, 114 runs in one session. But that was also because it was like they were playing with nothing to lose, because they wanted to get to early. They were 135 for 5, backs against the wall. It was at that point in time where De Grandhomme was just allowed the freedom. Jamieson came in with another cameo, Saudi, Bolt, etc., etc. So, given that situation, it was the onus was on New Zealand to get those runs. So, if we had built up some pressure, we could have induced a few wickets. I know 10 wickets it's a tall ask in the session itself, but I still do believe that if we kept it a bit more tight early on, especially, we could have perhaps induced a draw. Even if let's say they lose like 5-6 wickets, New Zealand could end up playing for the draw. And I mean, I personally, I do believe that both these teams are the best in the whole world, and they don't. I mean, neither team deserves. I mean, you would take it if both teams went home with a draw. I think it's a fair result, but
I mean, I always felt that.
I
always felt India was still in the game for a draw. Like, I definitely did not feel or wanted to get my hopes up that we could win the game and get 10 wickets and 50 odd overs or something. But I felt the draw was always an equation. But it's just we didn't keep it, like you said, not tight enough. We were a bit inconsistent in line and length from time to time. And even the wicket taking deliveries which we had, we were just unlucky at times not to find the edge of any of the batsmen. So I guess the luck was on the Kiwis side this time, which is, well, I'm happy for them, man. They deserve it.
I mean, if we lose to anyone, it's probably the Kiwis.
Absolutely. And they had like 2 heartbreaks in a row, 2015 World Cup, 2019 World Cup. So finally for them to win a major ICC trophy, I think that's I think we all can be happy for them, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, to end off the episode, just want to ask, why, why do you guys think Kohli is not able to cross the final hurdle, even though he's one of the best captains in terms of percentage wins or success over a long period of time? Why is it that, we can just end off with that, I think. Arjun, maybe first?
I think in knockout games, you need to have that knack for understanding the ebbs and flows of the game, and I would say some of it is definitely down to just bad luck, honestly. And some of the teams that we've met, just the wrong matchups at the wrong time. I think 2017, Mohammad Amir, away from the game for years, comes in, cleans up our top order with some of the best swing bowling I've seen in my life. And then you've got the 2019 World Cup semi-final. We look like we're in control for the first day. Then rain comes in, and then the complexion of the whole game just changes. And today I think this entire Test match we've always been slightly behind the 8 ball. I think New Zealand were. I think that first innings collapse just really hurt us more than their tail wagging. I would say our inability to capitalize on the few spells of momentum we had cost us in the end. I think 146 for 3 was our first day. After the first day of play, that was our score. Yeah. And then to go from there to 217 all out, it's in my opinion, it's criminal. As hard as the conditions are. So I think he has to. Either it has to be a mentality change of being more measured in the way they take these knockout games. Maybe they have to pay attention more to matchups and conditions. I know a lot of our opinions are that we were quite skeptical of New Zealand taking 5 seamers. Turns out it's the right decision, because look at the amount of pressure they were able to exert on us compared to what we were able to. The workload of when you're sharing the workload with 3 seamers in English conditions is always quite tricky, and perhaps we missed Hardik Pandya. Could have been the part.
Or even Bhuvi for that matter, because how he's Bhuvi had success in England before. But I think we can discuss that in another episode. Yash? Any thoughts?
I sort of agree with what Arjun said, but then I have a different opinion as well, where I felt sometimes you make your own luck. And I think that's what India have not been able to do. In some of the previous, let's say 2019 against New Zealand, the rain came in and sort of was a spoiled spot for our case. But, it's the same for the other team as well. The other team just managed to capitalize on that and, perform or outperform us in that regard.
Yep.
And it's the same thing here today as well, in the World Test Championship, where New Zealand just outfoxed us. We weren't good enough with the ball, especially. With the bat, I felt it was a pretty even contest, but the second innings, eventually New Zealand, there wasn't really much pressure on New Zealand in terms of batting in the second inning, because chasing 120 in the final session, although it seemed like a big ask, our bowling was just not good enough to cause too much troubles to the New Zealand batsmen. And I think we just in what I felt that why Kohli is not able to get over the final hurdle is probably one thing is to do with pressure. And the second thing is to do is because of that pressure, we are not able to perform as well as we should be performing. And I felt in these major situations, Kohli hasn't been the best in terms of performing with the bat.
There's definitely that element of being favourites in a lot of these matches. There's always that certain expectation that because of how we've improved in depth and just the quality of players we have, there is that expectation that you should be beating that team, and sometimes that can be tricky to handle.
Definitely. I think with that we can conclude today's episode, and of course I think in about a month's time we have the India-England series, so do look forward to that. And if you
also have the Sri Lanka series in between.
That's also another series you can look forward to, definitely. So if you listen so far, thank you so much for your support. You can check us out on our socials, on Spotify and YouTube. Both the links are available on our Instagram bio. And so thank you so much for listening. We'll see you again. And thank you so much if you followed this series, especially for the World Test Championship final. Obviously, it didn't turn out the way we wanted to. But from us at TNT, we want to wish New Zealand heartiest congratulations. I think they've They are thoroughly deserved winners for the World Test Championship. And I think with this, I think we can end off by saying that this is a great way to promote Test cricket, especially among youth. I think yesterday 8 of us were watching Test cricket. When has that ever happened? Yeah, together. So that has, I think it has brought a lot more interest into young people. So I think this is the way to take the game forward. And so I think that's it from us at the Next Team Cricket. Thank you so much for listening. See you guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.